Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's session. This is really excited today because we have SaaSant with us and Selva from there. I'll introduce him in a second. He'll come on. This is an awesome importing from Excel tool. They also have a deleter portion of their app as well, and it integrates, of course, with they have desktop as well as QBO, and we're going to be focused on QuickBooks Online today. So this is our second in going to be a long series throughout the summer into the fall. We're probably going to do 12 to 15 of these QBO feature spotlights. So we've done T-Sheet so far. We got Float, a reporting app, next week. That should be exciting as well. And it should go all the way through into the fall. But today is importing transactions and other data with SaaSant's Excel Transaction Import Deleter tool. All right? And I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself briefly. Woody Adams, longtime product consultant with Intuit, started in 2004. I still do the QBO show, formerly Radio Free QuickBooks with Stacy Kildall. And I did, for handouts, right, enough about me. I'll bring Selva on in a sec. But there is, in the handout section of GoToWebinar panel, you will see Selva's deck. It's just, about importing from Excel. So I uploaded that in there, and it has some contact info, although he'll be showing that slide at the end as well. So it's really easy to get in touch with them as well. They have a direct number. So it's pretty cool. I was just talking with them earlier this morning, actually. So if you, for some reason, you cannot download the PowerPoint deck that's in there, go ahead and email me, woody_adams@intuit.com, like usual, assuming you guys would come to the other webinars we do. And then, of course, our product specialist site, QBObestpractices.com, where I will go ahead and upload practices, there it is, .com. I'll upload the recording of this, which we are recording now, later today for anybody else in the firm or office or you want to share it with your client, what have you, right? So this is me, and again, I'm going to, the order of this feature spotlight is typical. I'll be in QBO Plus for maybe 10 to 15 minutes showing some basic importing features within QBO, a QuickBooks Online Plus file, as I'll typically do depending on the app, right? What does QBO have already? And then building the case where this is where you need SaaSant's tool, right? And particularly it's around importing transactions. Because just as a teaser, even QBO Advanced, that only supports importing invoices right now from Excel. Well, we know there's just a wide range of transactions beyond invoicing, okay? So I'm essentially going to be proving the case for leveraging this third-party app to really import data into QBO and save yourself a ton of time, which you'll see, right? Selva will show that. That's a great segue. So Selva, go ahead and come on, unmute yourself and introduce yourself to the audience, and then I will dive into product for a bit.
Yeah, thanks, Woody. This is Selva from SaaSant. I work as a chief architect in SaaSant, managing a team of developers and who really are doing amazing jobs of developing software for accountants, small business owners, and especially in QBooks platform. And we develop product for online and desktop, and we work closely with a lot of accounting firms to solve their needs. We do some customizations as well as platform products, and it's been more than a year with SaaSant for me, and it's quite interesting and a challenging journey. That's all for me, and I'm fully a technical guy. I learned everything as an accounting from our accountant community, and it's been a great journey so far.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks, Selva, and thanks for taking the time. I know it's about 10 o'clock your time over there at night, so really appreciate you taking the time. Selva will be back on in like 10 to 15 minutes showing the app, and even diving into product as well. So really happy to have him along. So here's what it's going to be. I'm going to be in my typical cloud collaboration file. We're going to look at the supported list that you can import, because for QBO, like desktop, there's not a whole lot of importing of transactions, right? Desktop has the batch enter transaction tool for more of a copy paste, but there's bank feeds and stuff, and we'll look at that. But really it's about importing lists, and there's essentially 4 supported lists with QBO, and I'll just take an example of customers and kind of show you where you would go and how you download the sample spreadsheet, etc., and kind of the import, the wizard that you follow. It's like 3 steps. We'll look at bank feeds and how it matches to transactions already in the register. Or if you just want to upload, the other file types you can upload from the financial institution, whether it's credit card or checking account, into QuickBooks Online. Sometimes there's not a direct connection, or you want to control the direct connection better. And then I'll dive over to my QBO Advanced file just to show you where the importing invoices is, but then I really want to get to the importing data with a third-party app. That's why we're here today. So let me just spend 10 minutes, and then we'll dive in. Selva will dive in. Okay, fair enough. This is, again, not the PowerPoint deck I uploaded in the handout section. It's the one Selva will be showing, and it has the contact info, which he will show at the end. All right, so I kind of canned some spreadsheets here yesterday to prepare for this. By the way, if you have any questions, as usual, just use the questions box. I probably won't get to them while I'm presenting over the next 10 minutes or so, but when Selva starts to show his PowerPoint and then the app, the Excel Imported Deleter app, you'll have questions, and I'll try to stop them as we go throughout the presentation. Hopefully that works for you guys. And I am recording it for anybody in the firm that didn't get a chance to stay. So you'll see under the gear icon, import data, right? By the way, if you're exporting data, sure, you can do that from reports. Export data really means back to desktop. If you are just creating a copy of the file, you need to be in Internet Explorer 11, still requires the ActiveX. But a lot of people will come to us, and I think, well, I'll let Selva describe that, is the need for the app, right? They're not coming from desktop. It's not a conversion. So what kind of things can you import from Excel? So again, QBO, it's the lists, chart of accounts, product services, vendors, customers, and then bank data, which we'll look at next. I'm going to choose customers just to show the sample file that you want to use and how that works. Now, chart of accounts, just as a side note, figuring that a lot of you here today are skilled in desktop, and you have a lot of clients on desktop. So what a lot of leading firms will do is that they will create a bunch of QBW files, QuickBooks desktop files that just have a shell of a chart of accounts. And when you create the QBO sub, because that always comes with our own generic chart of accounts, there are like 30 or 40 of them we just give you, right? And you can't really choose other none unless you purge the data file. So it's, the chart of accounts, you're not doing a whole lot of importing. If it's coming from, that's why they create these QBW files to overwrite the QuickBooks Online sub when it's just starting. Then you get your industry-specific chart of accounts. It's a great tip to share that I learned from other accountants too, that they're doing. They're keeping a handful, based on their niche of clients they support, handful of different QBW files with their own chart of accounts. They create a sub from QBOA, and they just convert from desktop just to get the chart of accounts that you want, right? Because there's not a lot of flexibility once it's going with QBO with that. But in my example, and all the lists will be similar except for bank feeds, first you want to download the sample file, all right? And this is what it looks like. It gives you, five or so examples. I always get rid of 12, right, line 12. And then these are the supported columns for customers. Vendors will have some related names for columns, chart of accounts as well, etc. So name, company, customer type, which is, coming in from, that is supported if you have price rules turned on. And then you have email, phone, right, and all this stuff, right? I don't really know what resale number is, but you can delete these columns out. You can delete the opening balance out because that's going to hit opening balance equity. So I always suggest using a transaction for that, and the date out, So basically this is what I'm typically importing. And of course, you're going to delete all these and just copy paste from the spreadsheet you have. Now, once you have it saved, then you'll just browse out and grab the sample. It's pretty simple, right? Customer sample, name it what you want. Then step 2 is the mapping of the data, right? Again, I'm not doing an opening balance because I want to stay away from opening balance equity. We've gone over that in the accountant best practice in the client file webinar, right? We don't want to hit OBE. So I remove those columns because I'm going to use an invoice in this case to do it, right? An open invoice. So mapping the data, step 2, and then next, anything red or highlighted will be things you can't import, okay? And then you just click import and it brings them in. Now, I'll probably get an error that these customers already exist in the list, right? So only one was imported because all the other ones are already there, right? So it catches you if, right, it doesn't want me to duplicate the data. But it's a 3-step process. It's the same with customers as it would be with vendors and products and services as well. My suggestion, again, download the sample file, okay? And then just use that as the template, okay? There's only 4 lists, then you got the bank data. Now, I wanted to talk about chart of accounts real quick. If you are importing it, again, coming from the desktop file is going to be a better experience. Create those QBO file shells of the chart of accounts or industry-specific categories you want for the niches that you support as a firm, the clients you'll have. Now, I did want to mention when you are importing chart of accounts, there is this detail type, right? So let's say you got like some kind of COGS account, right? Detail type does matter for importing. Right? We handle it from desktop, and maybe Selva will go over how they handle the detail type with his app and how they built that in or coded that in. But you do need, and you will have a detail type column if you're importing chart of accounts just straight from CSV or Excel. Okay, remember detail type only matters with importing and merging. Okay, and when you're creating one. Other than that, you wouldn't really need detail type because when you guys are creating chart of accounts, you already know what it's going to be. You just name it, right? But for whatever reason, when we created QBO back in 2000, they were designing it. We weren't thinking about accountants really, it was just small businesses, and we wanted to guide Woody, let's say, through, hey, what type of COGS account is it? What type of expense account? So that's the reason for detail type. But it is important with importing transactions, okay? All right, the other importing when you go into banking, direct connections are the way to go for credit card or checking account, savings account, other financial institution type accounts. However, you can't always do a direct connect. Either the multi-factor authentication is too complicated or wall to get through, and some firms even just control the feed by getting the file from the client and uploading it monthly. I've talked to some firms that do that. It's just part of their process, depending on the client and how sophisticated the bank feed is. Or I should say troublesome for them, let's say, right? So you can do a file upload, and we support a CSV, kind of like Excel, QFX, I never use that. The .QBO file and the OFX I will use. .QBO file is the same file type you do a web connect for desktop, right? So banks will have that one. They'll also have the OFX file, right? CSV is typical, right? And again, you're just saving it, you're browsing out and grabbing the bank data that you have. And I think I did this yesterday with some transactions I already have in the register, right? So here it is, this CSV file. You grab it, click next, you choose the account. I think this was for the Amex account. Yep, credit card. Click next, and then it's just three fields you have to match, right? Date, description, and then amount. Okay, click next, and then here are the transactions coming in. These are all spending, right, because they're negative, right? If they were positive, they would be revenue to me. This should be either cost of goods sold or expense. These are mostly expenses, I think. So I'm going to click next. It's going to import them that way. So there's another way to do that. And then the transactions will come in, and it should match to something already in the register, or a rule might be applied. I mean, you guys know you can go to our website and watch the bank feed webinar that Valerie does, or go to a live for that on rules and bank feeds and reconciliation. But net, another way to import data, right, into QBO is using the bank feed, the file upload. And remember, those are the 4 supported file types. Mostly you're going to be looking at .ofx, .qbo, and .csv. QFX is like some Quicken file, so I don't really mess with that. But maybe you have experience with that. I don't know. So that's importing data lists, as well as obviously these are expense transactions through bank feeds. You'll notice there's no other way really to import transactional data outside of bank feeds. The rest is lists. This is why the Excel importer tool that Selva's going to show in like a few minutes is so powerful, because your clients are coming from a non-desktop solution, or they're just starting from scratch, but they have a bunch of stuff in Excel they've been using. How do I get the transactional data in? Like, I saw that I can do lists, but what about transactions? Right? So not so supported with either QBO or desktop. Right, just Premier Accountant and Enterprise on the desktop just happen to have that batch enter transaction tool, so that's advantageous. But still, it's a copy-paste. Now, there is a level of QuickBooks Online, which is QuickBooks Online Advanced, that is starting to go down that road, meaning importing transactional data into QuickBooks Online. And that is, but it's only around invoicing. So QuickBooks Online Advanced does support the importing of invoices, right? You'll see it in the drop down. If you have a client on advanced because they need more than 5 users or 40 classes, or they need more than 250 chart of accounts, these plus clients would then move to advanced to support those list limits, right? The usage limits. And import invoices is really just looks a lot like I'm importing a list, right? You browse out. You might want to add new customers to QuickBooks, right, if they've never been there before. Or maybe you're just updating existing customers with balances or invoices, really. I mean, for me, it's going to be more viable when it supports all the core transaction types, particularly with expenses and stuff, right? Checks, bills, deposits, all that stuff. Right now, it's just customer invoice, so accounts receivable, right? But it's the same thing. You browse out. You're going to grab your invoices. Okay, you can add the new customers to QuickBooks if they're not new, mine are already there, and then it's going to go ahead and show you the available fields that match the column headers of the CSV file. And then you click Next, and then you select your tax rate, right, for whatever it is. You map that, so we have some mapping around sales tax, and then you start the import. Now, I'm probably going to get an error because I think these invoice numbers are duplicated. Yeah, so you got to have different invoice numbers. They already exist. I forgot. But anyway, that you click done, the 2 invoices would be there from Excel, or the 200 or the 1,000. I think it's caps at 1,000, lines in Excel or invoices, right? So, but it's just customer invoices, and it's just QuickBooks Online Advanced. I would argue that most of your clients are using Plus, like this subscription I was in earlier, or Essentials, right? So then how do you get transactional data in? And that's what Selva is now going to show with his Excel importer deleter app. So what I'll do, if that's a good segue, Selva, I'm going to go ahead and give the presentership to you, and then you can share out your screen, go through that cool deck you had, and then show some in-product examples, because, I mean, that's all QBO's got. So you guys have way more to support these accountants. Thanks.
Thanks, Rudy. Thanks for the introduction. Today we'll like to share the demo about Excel transactions, and this is going to be agenda like what SaaSant offers and what the use case Excel transaction will solve, and we'll have a detailed product demo, and I'll take you to online version of Excel transaction. I'll show the process of how you can import how it can be done, the input can be done and all. So right now, SaaSant offers desktop and online solutions. We do have multiple products for desktop, deleter, exporter, transaction. For online world, we have Excel transactions and transaction deleter. And there are some good numbers. We do have nearly 27,000 plus customers. 200 million transaction has been processed so far by Excel transaction. It has 800 plus 5-star reviews in Intuit app stores, and not only just top-rated software, it's a heavily used software in QBooks online platform. So what it does? So it does importing of transaction list and QB, and you can not only just creating the transaction, but also you can update the existing transaction which you already created in QBooks. So you can amend transaction, you can change the values in your list like customer name and vendor names or product information, pricings, everything can be amended again using Excel transaction. And do you have any unwanted data, or you want to clean up the created data in QBooks? Still it's possible with the Excel transaction. You need a detailed documents or reports for each and every different transactions from invoice to journal entry. Excel transaction is the place to go for. And Excel transaction supports online versions like US, UK, Canada, and rest of the regions, global regions. And it supports file formats, Excel, CSV, and IAF files. So here are some use cases which you can, for that you can use Excel transaction. For example, if your client or if you have files from e-commerce websites like Amazon or eBay or any other e-commerce websites, Shopify, you can download the files from those stores in a CSV format or Excel format, and you can use directly in Excel transaction. Got a bank statements, credit card statements, you can import via Excel transactions. Of course, with a payroll, if you're managing payroll using journals and you're managing books using your journal entries, the Excel transaction can do better job here to cut down all your work. And sales transaction, bills, payments, everything can be imported in QBooks using Excel transactions. So not only that, if you want to migrate to desktop and you have to bring the data from desktop, so all those things is possible. And Excel transactions is for online, but we do have products for desktop which can generate data for online version, and you can use Excel transactions to import here. So let's now get into a real demo. This is a sample QBooks page which you have created, and to get the Excel transaction, you have to navigate to apps, then search for SaaSant. So you'll get Excel transaction importer and deleter. Then you can click on get up now so that your QBooks online will be connected to Excel transaction. I did yesterday, so it is now connected. So the company name will be displayed on the top, SaaSant Test US July 2019. So this is the home screen for you. So here where the journey starts. So here if you look out left side, so there's the new import button and delete button, export, modify, and all the functionality here. So new import does creating a new transactions list and the whole flow. Delete will help you to clean up the data from QBooks Online. Export helps you to download the data in Excel or CSV format from QBooks Online. So now I'll take you to an import screen. So before that, I like to show some sample files so that you can easily understand what it can be done through Excel transaction. So for simplicity, I have brought some sample sales receipt data. I believe you are able to see my screen. So let's say this.
Yeah, we see that fine, Selva.
So this is a sample Excel sheet where we do have receipt number, sales receipt number, and we have a client information like I put Intuit ESA, and item name is QBooks Online. The total amount is $30, and yes, it's taxable. So this is just a simple information like that. Excel transaction support nearly 54 unique fields available in QBooks Online. You name it, shipping information, billing information, and what do we say, custom fields. Everything is possible. For the simplicity's sake, I have cut down to nearly most important field for you. So now I have saved this file. I'm going to take you to the import screen back. So I'm going to click on browse file, and I'm clicking on sales receipt sample data. I'm clicking on submit. So this is a screen where you have to select the entities or transaction types. So this is for sales receipts. I'm going to type sales receipts, choosing it. So this is the same flow how QBooks handles the importing. There are three steps. One is upload the file, map the information, and review the information and import it. This is the second step. So here you can see QBooks names like sales number, customer information, and item information, everything here. It is grouped in its own category. So now sales number can be mapped here, receipt, customer information is in client column. So just want to bring that Excel sheet back here, client column. Item is product for QBooks Online. Going there in item details, searching this field, I'm mapping item.
I see, Selva, you have class and location there too, so they can map to that as well if they're doing
Yes,
like
yes.
class. Okay, cool.
As you can see here, right, so not only just the 4 fields, you can see in this customer payments reference number section 7 fields. In item we have around 11 fields, shipping details, this list goes. And if you have discounts, and if you have custom fields, and memo message to be shared on sales receipt, everything can be uploaded over here. So I just mapped product service to item and amount to a total, and yes, this product should be taxable, so I'm choosing taxable value so that you can use your client file directly to map these fields. You don't need to download any sample templates, but I will definitely show the power of using sample templates, how it can reduce the time and effort. For if you have your client file directly, you can directly just import it and map the files and get on action. So before doing it, there is one more way of quickly checking that whether we have mapped properly or not. So click on preview mapping. So now what are the files or informations on the file? It's a client, receipt, item, total. You can check here. So it will be placed on customer sections client, product will be item, sales number is receipt hash, taxable total, so that you're able to understand that you have mapped properly or not. Then click on review screen, review button. So now you'll able to see the tabular format where all the information which is there in your file will be brought here. So this is where 4 columns and 4 information has been brought here. You can edit if you want. You can search if there is any existing customers available. You can search and type over here. You can type, can modify it, just edit. So now I'm going to just click on upload. Bingo. So it's done. So let's see. So everything has been successful. I'm going to click on this particular link, QBook's logo link. Now it directly takes you to the imported sales receipt.
Hey, Selva, I do have a question from Justine. She's asked, what is the recommended quantity of transaction to import at any one time?
Okay, so right now we do support up to 3,000 lines. So you can upload in a single file 3,000 lines in a time.
Thank you.
Yeah. As you can see here, the information which we brought in the Excel file has been mapped properly here. The new customer has been created, and the product information, amount, tax information has been calculated. That's it. So if you want to change each and every details, we can do it. So I'll let you to go over a couple of other important factors. So one thing is, before importing in, you can tune the imports. So what it means by tuning? So that is the settings options. So if you want to control that, you don't want to create the customers vendors automatically, you want to control the behavior of auto creations, you can turn on and turn off it so that you know that whether our app Excel transaction creates new customers or not. If your file has a different file format, date formats, you can choose it over here. And sorry, if you want to control the behavior of like creating or auto numbering from QBooks, like QBooks has a facility that you can generate QBooks as in its own numbering format. But if you want to use a custom file format, numbering formats, you can turn it on and turn it off. And you can do a lot of things during through settings. So if you want to import payments, but you want to validate the payments, saying that like this invoice has been already paid with proper amount and all, you can use these validations. And if you want to control how the customers can be find out, so in the file instead of names, you can use resale number, and you can use these settings to update existing what do you say addresses in customer fields or vendor there. And there are a lot of settings over there. So instead of giving a name of the product, you can give a SKU information. And well, if you allow Excel transactions to create the products automatically, you can choose and you can provide the necessary information. For example, if our app want to create the non-inventory products whenever you import, if it doesn't exist in QBooks, you can choose the auto create a product type is non-inventory. Then you can choose the account like income account, and it'll directly search in the QBooks and try to get you there. Just like that. So you can choose the account information and here. So you can choose the income expense account, and you can create inventory, non-inventories, and surveys, all kind of product automatically from here. So there are nearly 30 or 30 plus settings available to tune your import.
And
So now,
Selva, just sorry, quick question. Bill asked, what are the supported transaction types or forms that you guys can import? I mean, I know we're doing sales receipt. I saw journal entries. What other transactions? Yeah.
So I'll take here again to import screen. So I'm choosing some file. So here's the list goes. It supports all the transaction in QBooks, invoice, receive payments or payments, estimates, credit memos, sales receipts, all the sales and expenses like expenses, checks, bills, bill payment, purchase orders, and if you take your list from vendors, employee, location, and time activities, direct journal entries, bank deposits, transfers, vendor credits.
Great.
Almost all.
So pretty much all of them except for payroll, but that's because no third-party app really integrates with payroll anyway, so it's not like you can import. Yes. Yeah, got it.
Except payroll transactions, and there is one more thing called inventory adjustment. So there's two type of transactions right now we couldn't support. So I hopefully in future we should be able to support those transaction types also.
Thank you.
So this is the different type of transaction we support. So now you can look out the history of transaction which you have imported from here. This top menu, we call it the history menu. You can anytime go back and look out what you have imported. So now the question is like you are importing nearly 3,000 to 2,000 to 3,000 transactions, and suddenly you felt that whatever you imported is wrong. So how do you clear this out? So there is something like lifesaver button called undo. You can click on undo, and you can click on delete. So it's done. So it's deleted. So now
that will actually remove the imported transactions from QBO?
Yes.
Oh, that's
now
fantastic.
I just open up the already created transaction, but I'm just going to refresh it. So you can just look at and saying that. So it's not there. So it's saying it's not available. Now if you look at history, it won't be there. So the last one was the invoice which you have created. So this is how we can clear the complete transactions, whatever you have imported. So that's it. So then now I'll take one more thing. So how do we what you can say amend or modify the existing transactions, right? So let me take a look here. So in invoice here I have nearly 6 transactions I have. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to export those transactions. I'm going to make some modification, Then I'm going to upload it again. This is the export feature. So it means like you can download all kind of reports, all kind of transactions in a detailed way. So it supports all the transactions, whatever we are able to support in import. And you can search and you can do a lot of filters we have provided. You can use these filters to drill down your search. Click on search. So
And
there are
Selva, while it's searching there, I just wanted to make sure, confirm an answer I just gave to an attendee. In the audit log, the user shows up as a system admin, right? When it imports transactions or exports or deletes transactions from QBO, the username in the audit log should be system admin, like the bank feed comes in like that. But I always maintain that the third-party apps show up as a system admin on the user, as the user in the audit log. Is that true?
it's not true for this third-party app integration. So this app integration, not only Excel transactions, all the apps works in a little different way. As this in this audit log, what it shows is the user who connects our app. As a user who are adding our app, their name will be available or will be displayed in all the audit logs.
Oh,
So
okay.
it uses this is how QBooks handles the audit history. So yeah, this is applicable to all the third-party apps, not only Excel transactions.
No, that's awesome. That's good because system admin is so generic, so that's good to hear.
Yeah.
And Jerry's asked, can someone restore invoices and bills that you accidentally deleted using the deleter app? Like, is there an undo for that, if you will?
No,
Okay,
there's
good.
no undo feature, but what we recommend every time before deleting it, there is a way we can download the complete report. Even after deleting it, before refreshing the page, there is a provision where you can download the what do you say, transaction there. So you have to download the transaction, keep it separate before deleting it, so that you can re-import it again. So that's what we suggest to all the our clients, saying that before deleting it, there is an option to download the report. Please download it, then delete it, so that you'll have a backup.
Okay, thank you.
So here I just searched and I got nearly 6 transactions. So it is saved. It is saved here in downloads. This is how it is. So these are the information available in QBooks. So it's brought everything here. So what I'm going to do here is, instead of customer intuit USA, I'm going to add intuit UK. So I've just changed this information. So you can edit any information. So but here I'm just going to update this information through modify. So click on modify and follow the same footsteps. So this time when the report is downloaded from Excel transaction, you don't need to map anything. It will be automatically mapped. So you just need to click on review. So just cross checking that, okay, the new information has been updated or not. That's it. And that is a format of date has been little changed. So if you have any different format date, it will show there. So when you click on upload, it will definitely warn you that there is a mismatch of date settings. So I'll open up, go to general, and doing this. Okay, cool. It's done. So now we'll see the import result and click on one of that invoice.
So you can launch QBO right from the app and go to that
Yes.
actual transaction. That's awesome.
So now you can see the customer information has been changed into UK. So that's how you can amend all the sales transaction, expense transactions, products, and customers, vendors, any data available in QBooks, you can amend it over using Excel transaction.
And that salvo will update existing transactions already in QBO?
Yes, yes. This we
Oh,
just
wow.
downloaded from QBooks online only. So we
Okay.
just exported the data from QBooks online. I made a change, then uploaded it back. And it
Quick
doesn't create
question
one. Yeah.
and related, because I get this a lot. This is really a cool feature. I didn't even know you all had this part. Number one, the undo, like the mulligan. That's awesome. If the import was bad or wrong, from a wrong bank account or whatever. So you can undo that. But the fact that you can change and batch edit existing transactions. So can you also like put a location, like say someone all of a sudden wanted to start using location tracking. They were using class tracking for years and they're like, nah, we're going to now use, the higher level location tracking. Can you use this app to batch update the location field on existing sales receipts, invoices, bills, checks?
Yes, that's the main use of this app. Nearly daily thousands of customers of SaaSant using that for that feature. Normally they comes and creates through different integrations. The invoice would have been already created there, but they want to update locations, or sometimes they have some nearly custom fields, right? So if they want to upload those details, they just go to Excel transaction, export the data, filter the data, and update the data with whatever the location they have. They just need to upload the data back here. So it'll
That's an amazing feature. I hope you guys are marketing that piece because I can't tell you how many times I get questions like this. How to update existing data in QBO, for fields that really aren't batch updatable, which is most of them, right?
okay.
So
Yes, yes.
that's awesome. I just want to encourage you guys to go with that
Oh,
one.
okay. Yeah, so we do inform all the customers what it can do. Yes, we do promote ourselves that what are the other hidden features available there. And people are using Excel transaction as a backup solutions every time they come and download the monthly transactions before making any bulk update, so that they'll keep a track of what happened and anytime they can restore back, right? So some people or some firms are using as a backup system. So and 3000 is a limit to upload the transaction, and they can upload unlimited transactions. We have seen people who have uploaded nearly 50K transaction in a day, and within a span of nearly hours. That's the power of Excel transactions.
That's awesome.
So that's all we covered, and we have covered export and modify. There are some special features available like a file formatter. This is for firms where we partner with them to customize their files, and we provide them what do you say, customized software solutions to these firms where we have partner, and they can use any type of form files, and they can upload, and that will be sent to QBox. So, and we have a dashboard where you can look out the numbers what have been uploaded through SaaSant. This is the core features of Excel transactions. So the hidden features would be like undo features, modify, you can bulk delete, bulk modifications you can do, and I wouldn't take you through detailed screens of mapping. In mapping screen itself, there are a lot of hidden formulas, and you can play with the columns, you can measure the columns, and further to take you to the one more settings flow. So let's assume that the file has a different name, customer name in file, it has something like INT to determine the intuit, then it needs to be have some alias in QBooks, right? So you can use your own alias or lookup over here. So you can upload your alias here, file reference data and QBooks reference data, so that we automatically match the alias for you, and we'll find a relevant customers or vendor or product information, and we'll create the transaction accordingly. So it'll take more than an hour to explain each and every settings available here, but we're happy to help you if you just dial the number available and
Right.
drop us.
Yeah, and you guys have great availability. That I'm sure you'll show them the 619 number and the email. They usually get back pretty quick when you're trying to contact. I did have a question, Salva, and thanks for that demo. I didn't know you guys had all those other features. It's just fantastic.
Thank you.
Are there any, for pro advisors, those that are using QuickBooks Online Accountant and they have, a bunch of QBO clients and they're growing their QBO base? Is there some kind of affiliate program or benefits, of being a QuickBooks Online accountant firm, pro advisor firm, and leveraging your app across maybe multiple clients or for multiple clients?
Yes. So we made a lot of pricing changes for pro advisor and accountants and firms. So first one I can talk about. We have already partnered with Intuit to so we have something called discount program for accountants or pro advisor. When you log in with accountant login,
it's one of the supported apps. So I think there's like 20 or so apps that on the apps tab in QBOA is what I think Selva is referring to. And there it is, 20% off. Got it. So it's like $8 a month per QBO sub, right? Per client file? Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Cool.
I mean, a real nominal fee for some of the stuff you've been talking about, though. That's awesome. Okay.
So if you come directly, it'll be we'll be charging $9.9. But if you come via discount program, you'll be charged for $8 for a particular client. But we do have special pricing for multiple companies. So we have a lot of pricings. So you can look at the pricing plans, specifically made for pro advisor and accountants. So let's say multi-company plans. One company is right now it's $9.9, but if you purchase 3 companies for $25 and 30 companies for $40. Right. So 50 companies, $60. So we have a good amount of packages for pro advisors. And regarding affiliate program, yes, we do have affiliate program. Not for QBooks Online product, for desktop product, we do have affiliate program. So I can take you a little there. So you can go and sign up for affiliate program here. So we do have commission type for 10% to 20% based on the delivery.
That's awesome.
So people can sign up for here, and we do have these features.
That's great. So unless you had something else, I did have one question. Another asked, for the deleter app, Selva, is it the same supported list of transactions and lists that can be deleted, or is it different?
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same.
Okay.
What we have done is some couple of customers just looking for cleaning the QBooks data. So for those people, you have created a deleter app. But in Excel transaction, it supports all the transactions, whatever can be created.
Okay. And before we end with your thank you screen, so they know how to get in touch with you all, even if you want to put that up, because we're still seeing your screen, that'd be great. But what other apps, if you can share, I mean, depending on what you're allowed to or not, what other apps is SaaSant working on, like currently, that would integrate with QBO?
Okay, so there are a couple of new products we are working on it, but right now I don't know whether I can share it right now in this forum or not, but there are products where we can completely automate the what do you can say file formations, like from PDF to image and whatever we can do in batching. So all those things we are developing in right now. Um, uh, that's what I can say right now. So once it is developed, probably we'll put it on the information in the App Store, so it will be available soon. So right
Yep.
now we do have nearly 5 products, desktop for 3 and only for Excel transaction and deleter.
No, that's great. And we'll probably end a little early. It's 9 of the hour, and I just wanted to thank Selva. If you wanted to go to your contact screen or the contact screen at the end, just so everybody has it, and I will in the chat, everyone, I'll put in the direct number. But the email works great too. I've been communicating with some of Selva's colleagues over the last month or so using the email, and it's SaaSant.com. You can also find it on the apps.com, or if you're in QuickBooks Online Accountant later today or this morning or right after this presentation, click on apps and just scroll down a bit, or you can use a search field, but you'll see it there. It just has this icon they have with the A, right, and it says Excel Importer, right? It has the 20%, so it'll be in the QBO as well.
Once you can search and get it there.
Oh yeah, perfect. Yeah. So, but a lot of reviews, 823 reviews, which is a high number, and mostly 5-star. So that's typically what I look for, with that. So a 4.8 average. You can also get in touch with the company this way as well. So I'll hang around for a couple minutes if there's any questions, and Selva's here. But again, Selva, thanks so much for taking the time. I know it's late for you out there and coming in on 11 p.m. your time. But thanks. This has been an eye-opener for me. Some of these features I did not know you already did, way beyond just importing from Excel. Just to recap, everyone, I really like the undoing of things if it was a bad import or wrong, incorrect. Being able to modify existing transactions in a batch in QBO, I think, is huge. I had no idea that was a feature of the Excel transaction importer deleter. And to me, that's probably my favorite. And it's almost like a backup, because QBO, we know, doesn't really have a default backup restore feature. And it seems to me that you can use this app in that way as well, to some extent.
Yeah.
So pretty cool.
Yeah. Thank you, Woody. Thank you for the wonderful opportunity. It's a great pleasure to meet all the great accountants here. It's always been a great journey for me.